Here we are, 2 minutes behind schedule. It wouldn't be a local pundit show if we weren't late. Welcome to your members only Champ Chat. Let's get on with the show.
Hey-o.
Hey, only 2 minutes late. That's pretty good for us.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Treat them mean and keep them keen.
Well, everybody loves us. We know that.
I'm not hip. What was that? Treat him mean and keep him keen. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's
a new one. That's a new one on me. I like that.
Is it?
May
That's
have
how
to
you treat your woman.
treat your
Trust
woman.
Trust me, that's it. That's how Aaron's missus treats him.
Yeah. Ken's got it right. Ken's definitely got it right. Hey, I wear the pants around here as soon as she tells me which pair to put on.
Exactly. Oh, that's so good. So good. Well, boys, we're still into our team reviews. This is members only. This is the fun stuff. Geez, we've had a lot of stuff going on, haven't we?
Yes.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. It's all ramping up to the start of the season. It feels like it's building.
Yeah. It's not even July yet.
No, it's going to come so fast now. Like, even though we're still 5 to 6 weeks away from one, it's going to come quick.
Yeah, it'll go quick.
Yeah. So I mean, look. Today we've got who have we got today? I know I've got Portsmouth. Who have you boys got?
I've got Oxford,
and I have QPR.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You got QPR. Yeah, it's funny. This was not planned in any way. It randomly went out. It was like QPR is a super cool team, one that I, as sort of, I've obviously followed a fair bit of. Not a team that I'm a fan of, but just it's a big team. And
sure. I'm starting to get the feeling like you're just a fan of everybody except for Wrexham.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the way this is going. Yeah, you have to put on the Wrexham shirt to cover.
I've got my Wrexham membership. It's the only club I have a membership to. It's the only club I buy kit of.
That we know of. I
mean, I do have my Birmingham City underwear.
I'm sorry. I have to do this because you guys got me so good with Rotherham last season. So I'm every chance I get, I'm getting you guys.
And I did feel like the little Millwall guys were starting to get under his skin.
I'm just glad nobody's done that. Nobody that I picked has gone to Millwall yet. So
look who's in the chat. John, that looks like a blue shirt under that jacket. John, it is a blue shirt, but it is Barnwood Golf Club, which is a golf club down here in Australia, down in Tasmania. But anyway, well, what else? Geez, the fixture drop happened. I think you and Josh did a show while I was asleep. Teddy, is that right?
We did. And people were commenting in the chat how happy I looked. Look, smiling. Smiling. Ooh.
That's fantastic. I love it.
I
love it.
So just real quick, we're just kicking things around. What for since me and Ken weren't on there, I don't know if you guys talked about it because I didn't hear the whole show today, Patty, but what fixture are you the most excited about now that you've seen them?
I don't have one. I don't have a single fixture. Yeah, I don't. The run-in at the end is scary as all hell. The final five.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
So we need to be secure in where we are coming into that last run of five. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is, I mean, what Parkinson normally by that last run of games we're firing. That's usually when we're at our best is right at the end of the season.
But I certainly hope we don't need more than 5 points in the last 15 just in case.
Actually, I'm just having a little chuckle to myself now. I've just looked at the opening fixture and what time it is.
Early morning.
Realize what time's that's going to be for Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, so for all the people who are kind of saying that the matches get rigged, what do we think of Birmingham getting the first opening match? and then us, and both of us have a relegated Prem team.
Yeah, not surprising at all.
They were
not surprising at all. Yeah, you know what? I can't remember which. I don't remember where I said it at. Is the problem? But I know in somewhere, and I don't know if it was commenting on another channel, like if Matt was doing a live and I commented on there, or if it was on one of our shows and we were talking about it. I predicted Southampton away. I don't remember when I did it. That's surprise. I want to find it. So if anybody in the chat can find that, make me look like a genius, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I remember predicting, and everyone's like, "Oh no," But it was, I'm positive.
The longer I think about Southampton away as the first match, the more I like it.
I think it's just fantastic marketing. I mean, Birmingham v Ipswich and us versus Southampton, they're going to be bangers. Like in terms of viewing numbers,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should only win that 4-0 or so.
He's we'll cruise on that one. No, I'm predicting a Parky masterclass. We're gonna have about 20% possession, but we're gonna win 1-0. Max Fleurs header right at the end.
Welcome to the championship.
89th minute, Max Fleurs header, 1-0 winner. That's where I'm at with it.
You heard it here first.
I will give a little bit of props to them. Apparently on the Southampton forum, people aren't overly happy with us as the first match. They're giving us a little bit of props that could be a dangerous start.
It'll be. It just. I mean, it really does depend on what we do the next 6 weeks. You know what I mean? What kind of business we do.
Yep.
So.
But if they're not firing, and we can hold them off and then sneak a goal, it's not unheard of.
New manager too. They just got
new manager, all the rest.
Yeah. So
and for as much pressure as there is, I like it being the first match because it's expected for us to lose, and it's not really a big deal to lose away to a side just dropped down from the Prem. So it's not a bad first match. I think gets it out of the way, done and dusted. One of the tough ones.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't want that one in February. You know what I mean?
So what do you think?
They're going to be fire. They'd be fire and be real.
Get a draw and get out of there.
Yeah, I'd be. Oh yeah, I'd be absolutely 0-0 would be great. I'd take a 0-0. But
parking the bus.
And it's funny. We'll still as a manager, he's not one that's overly ball control centered. You know what I mean? He's perfectly fine with giving the ball away if he does. In situations, he's an interesting character actually. But I mean, obviously, I think against us they'll have most of the ball because Parky will give it to him anyway. That'll be his game plan. So I'm sure we'll be parking the bus on that one and looking to counter.
But I'll tell you, if we pull off the upset on day one, that will be massive.
Oh, it'll be huge.
Could you imagine the articles all over? It's bad enough as it is, but imagine if we actually won.
Imagine. Yeah. Actually, I think even bigger news would be if Birmingham beat Ipswich. Even though it's at home, because Ipswich is predicted to win the league.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'd probably be as big. I don't know though. I think a lot of people are expecting a lot more out of Birmingham though than they are us. To be fair, you know what I mean. I think if you ask most people, they would predict Birmingham ahead of us.
Yeah.
So
that's unnatural though. In fairness.
Yeah. Oh shoot!
Yeah, fair enough.
All right,
well, why don't we start to get into these teams, boys?
Yep.
All right. I guess it's up to me.
Make us look good. Give us a high bar.
Oh shoot! I don't know if I'm awake enough to give us a high bar. Just so everybody knows, I'm working in 100-degree heat today. I am hot, and I am wiped out.
Move somewhere colder.
Yeah. I live in Indiana. It gets pretty cold in the wintertime. It's just the pesky summer's a real problem.
Okay. Move somewhere more moderate all year.
Yeah, where it's
Move
all year.
to Florida.
Yeah. No, Pacific Northwest seems like it's like 60 out there all the time. That's where I need to go. All right. Anyway, let's get into this. Oxford United. They were founded in 1893 as Headington FC. Renamed Oxford United in 1960, according to this. Their stadium is the Cassim Stadium, around 12,500 capacity. I couldn't find like an exact number for it. I kept getting numbers around 12.5, so I just went with that. And then typically they play. They're a League One team. You know what I mean? For the most part, most of the time they're in League One. They've had a few runs higher than that. They have, and I've got it. Their peak era was 1985 through 1988 when they were in the first division, which is the equivalent of what the Premier League is now. It was just prior to the Premier League. And so that was their height. So they had those 3 years then. And then after that, they kind of went on a decline and actually got relegated in, let's see, what was it? Dropping. 2006, they got relegated to the National League. So they were all the way out of the Football League. But they were only there for 4 years. They got promoted to League Two in 2010. They won the playoff, the conference playoff. Back then, the National League was called the Conference. So they won the conference playoff. And then they, let's see, I've got it here. 2016, they got promoted to League One. And then they stayed in League One up until this last season. They were one of the promoted teams, and they did, they won the League One playoff and got promoted and made it to the championship. And this will be their second season in the championship. So their honors, major awards and honors, they won the EFL Cup, or EFL League Cup, as it was known then, in 1986. And then they were promoted from the Southern League, which was non-league, into the Football League in 1965. They got promoted to somewhere. Okay, so to Division Two in 1968, a couple years later. And then there were some things that the leagues were changing, and I think they had some. I don't know if they got relegated or they just added a league. Like there was some weird stuff. It was weird because I couldn't find where they got relegated, but they got promoted again into the old second division. It's how it said it. So I couldn't. That was a weird one. I couldn't figure out what happened there. But that was in 84, and then in 85, so they had back-to-back promotions. They got promoted to the first division, and that was when they had their run in the first division for a few years there till 88. And then they obviously from there they got relegated a few times, ended up in the conference, and got out of the conference via the playoffs in 2010, and then again, like I said earlier, 2016 up to League One, and then in 2024 they were promoted via the playoffs to the championship. So currently their manager is Gary Rowett. He replaced Des Buckingham on December 20th of 2024, so he's only been in the job about half a season. And he's a really good manager at this level. He actually played at, he was a defender. He played at Cambridge United, Everton, Derby, Leicester City, Charlton, among a few others. His career ended due to injury in 2004. His management resume, he managed Burton Albion from 2012 to 2014, Birmingham City from 2014 to 16, Derby County 2017-2018, Stoke City 2018-2019, Millwall 2019 to 2023. He was again an interim at Birmingham during the 2024 season where they were going through managers like, old shoes. And now he's been at Oxford since December 2024. So the thing with him, as soon as they came in, had immediate impact. They won their first 3 matches under him, and he won the Championship Manager of the Month for the month of January. So he definitely got them playing well, and kept them pretty much out of the relegation fight for the most part. They kind of got clear of it and then stayed out of it. And then his tactical style is he's a solid defensive structure, pragmatic yet flexible, draws on his extensive second-tier experience to stabilize and gradually improve the team. That's a little thing that I found, so I stole that. It's a little breakdown of him. Their biggest rival apparently is Swindon Town. It's known as the A420 Derby, after the road that links the two cities. It's considered their fiercest rival. And then they also have a rival with Reading. I couldn't find a name for that one. I don't know if that one has a name. And then, so here's the interesting thing with them: financial issues there, and issues with their stadium. So, what I could find, basically, the Kassam Stadium is owned by a previous owner. And I thought I had his name down, and I don't see it. His last name is Kassam. I can't remember what his first name is, but the stadium's literally named after him. Okay, Faraz Kassam. There it is. I found it. There it was. So it's owned by the Faroka Group, which is owned by their former chairman, Faraz Kassam. So they have to rent their stadium from them. And it's for around $1 million per season, which that's a big issue as far as revenues. That's $1 million per season going straight out the door. The other issue is, it says until recently, so apparently this has changed, but until recently, they were receiving no revenue from food or beverage sales either. So the renters were keeping all that too. But it says until recently, so apparently that's changed, but I don't know that for sure. And then the lease itself actually runs out. It runs till 2026, but there's some conditional extensions to 2028. I couldn't find exactly what the conditions were for the extension but there's some sort of extension that can be used to keep it through 2028. And also it's only got 3 sides. And part of that is because the ownership don't want to build a 4th stand. The club ownership don't want to do it because they don't even own the stadium. And the people that own the stadium don't want to put the money in because what's the point of putting money in, when they don't have to? You know what I mean? That's kind of how they look at it, I guess. So it's really a strange situation with that. So they do have plans for a new stadium. And so there's like a big thing coming up in July. So they proposed a 130 to 150 million pound build new stadium. The club has submitted plans for a 16,000 seat stadium at the Triangle in Kidlington, complete with hotel, restaurants, etc. And the issue with that is there was supposed to be a vote on it and it got delayed. Now there's supposed to be another vote, and that vote to approve it is due in July. So this July we should find something out. And basically what the chairman, CEO, says, if we don't have a stadium, we don't have a football club. So they're really like, they could be in some serious issues if they don't get that stadium approved. So who knows how that's going to end up. It's a wild story. Let me pull up some of their players so I can give you a little breakdown of some of the players they had that were good for them. So just by FOTBob ratings, last season, their best player was Jamie Cumming at a 7.14. Gregory Lee at 7.09. Cameron Brannigan was a 7.05. Ciaron Brown, I think that's how you say it. Somebody, or maybe it's Karen Brown. I don't know. Ciaron. I'm sorry. At a 7 even, and then Will Volks at a 6.85. So obviously they didn't have a fantastic season this season, but it was. It was for a team that was just freshly promoted to stay in. That's a great season. You know what I mean? They got to be happy with. I think their goal was to stay in the division, and that's what they're able to do. They finished 17th, but they were only 4 points clear of relegation. So, and we've talked about how tight the championship was down at the bottom. So, they look like they're 4 places clear, but really they're only 4 points clear. That's how tight it was down there. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I actually think, I don't know, I think I was talking about them getting relegated. The more I thought about Rout today, I was just doing some little extra work on him. I almost wouldn't be surprised if they stayed up. Even though I kind of think they could be a team that's in the bottom, at least fighting for relegation, but they might stay up. So yeah, that's what I got on Oxford. It's a really interesting situation. Hopefully they can get the stadium thing figured out.
Yeah, I definitely think there's danger for them to be going back down. The second season is always tricky. Sometimes you can get everyone to pull together the first season, and then things slowly start to fall apart. So I hope they stay up. I wouldn't mind them staying up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely like, it'll be a challenge for them because with the financial situation they have, I don't know, like, where is their money coming from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they're getting money in.
They're not.
Because from the way I understood, I don't even think they're getting. I don't think they're getting squat from the stadium at all. So
pretty much,
it's. I don't know. It'll be that'll be interesting if they can spend a little bit of money and keep that team in the championship. I think it'd be quite a thing. But Gary Rout's a great manager, I think, at this level. So
yeah, this is another case of previous owner fucking over the club. So it obviously looks like it's a land play that he wants the club out, and he's going to sell it and knock it or whatever, redevelop it to get his money back or whatever the case is. So so that's another one. In that case, it's going to get very, very dodgy. What they'll have to look for, if anybody's willing to do it, is to do a stadium share. But that will only last you so long.
Exactly.
Nobody has, as far as historically I know, have done a long-term stadium share. Because I don't think the EFL allow it because there's too many matches.
I wonder about that. I could see. I know it happens in non-league. I know especially when you get down to the real lower leagues, you'll get a lot of ground sharing. But
they'll allow it for the bigger ones. You'll get away with it for a year or two, but that's it. They're not going to allow it indefinitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be. It's a wild thing. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's all I got on them.
Okay, so Ken has disappeared. He has got some technical issues, so we'll let him work on those. We can skip ahead. Ken is supposed to be next, but I will jump on and do QPR, and then we'll see if Ken has made it back or not afterwards. So let's jump into QPR. Where were we? 2 seconds. Oh, my notes. Okay, there we go. QPR was founded in 1886, so another one miles back. They were a merger of St. Jude's Institute and Christchurch Rangers in West London. They're located in the Shepherd's Bush area of London, which is a major, well-known area. QPR is rooted in a vibrant urban community. Isn't that amazing? Vibrant urban community. Okay. QPR's home is Loftus Road, which historically is very, very well known. 290 kilometers from Wrexham. That's about 3.5 hours drive down along the M1, M6. Not an easy trip. That'll be a nice long one. Obviously, no local rivalry or derbies there. Nickname is the Hoops due to their distinctive blue and white hooped kits, or occasionally doors as well sometimes. So head to head, we have not really come across ourselves very much each other. They have been at the higher levels. We have dropped down, so we haven't competed in the same leagues very often, and certainly not lately in any way, shape or form. Their local derby is Chelsea, would be their fiercest rival, based in West London. Other rivals include Fulham and Brentford, who again are both not in the league this year. So no big rivalry for them this season. Biggest achievements, they have cups and division wins long time ago. Nothing recent. They're very middling at the moment. There. Okay, last 5 seasons. Where is it? Here. So they have been in the championship for the last 10 seasons, actually. Starting last season, we had 15th, 18th, 20th, 11th, 9th, 13th, 19th, 16th, 18th, 12th. So all around the middling, they have not been getting up into the playoffs at all since they came down from the Premier League the last time, which was 10 years ago. So they are a very middling team. They don't have money to invest. They have a decent squad, but once you go back over 3 years, basically you're rotating in a new squad again and again, so it doesn't really matter. And they're a very middling squad. They've done some decent work, it looks like, in getting people in this season. Who have they got? Transfers, players in. They have Amadou Salif Mbengu, free transfer, and Karamoko Dembele from Brest. They're okay. They are linked with a few others. Didn't they get Poku today?
There was a lot of rumors
official?
that they did, but that's not been announced.
Okay, not official. Yes.
So
right.
I've not seen anything official. I've seen like some rumor mill type.
Okay, because we mentioned that earlier. Someone put it up.
Yeah,
I assumed it was official. But
yeah, I looked to see. I couldn't find anything official. Oh, hey, Ken, you made it.
Oh,
and he's frozen. And he's
frozen.
Am I frozen or not frozen?
You were for a second. You're not at the moment.
Okay. Yep.
I think so.
Well,
yeah, it looks sketchy, but yeah.
Okay.
See how it goes.
Anyway.
Right. So QPR are one of the teams who have dumped their ex-manager. Their new manager is Julian Stefan, who has just been recently announced as their new coach, and he has come in from Rennes, Rennes, French. And before that, they had Marc Cifuentes.
Yeah.
Wrong one. Shit. QPR history. There you go. Now, before Cifuentes, who kind of kept them middle of the road, they had one of our old pals, Ainsworth. Mr. Garrett Ainsworth was with them for a while. He actually did okay with them before he left. So they left him, went to Cifuentes. He almost got them relegated in his first season, but he only had them for half a season. Then he started doing a little bit better, but 18th and 15th are not good enough. So they're hoping for better. Like a lot of teams who aren't doing much in this league, they're just hoping a change of manager will help them out. But that doesn't really appear so. So ownership-wise, they haven't had any massive problems lately. They are owned by a consortium called the Tune Group. Tony Fernandez and Kamarudin Meranon and the Mittal family actually took over in 2011 as well. So no recent takeover since then. Financially, they're doing okay. They have had fair play penalties and no big spending. So the limited budgets. So they're not really going anywhere. I got shouted at for saying that they're shite, but they're in trouble. they're a big team with a big name. Yeah, big name and not much else. They're okay.
People shout at you a lot, so that's fine.
I know, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. I kind of like it sometimes, you know. I don't mind a slap or two every now and again either.
Okay, so this is a different topic.
Now we're getting into Paddy's private life. This took a turn.
Okay, so expectations, not much. Mid-table would be good for them, actually. They'd probably be happy 10th, 11th, 12th, maybe. And we'll see where they go from there. Big name, big history, not doing much at the moment.
Luke made a good point there. They're almost in the top 10 in London. They're the 11th best team in London. Oh, that's rude.
Yeah,
that's rude.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna get any QPR fans on here.
Yeah, we're gonna beat QPR. 6 points.
That's true. Well, and if they do come in later, we'll send them back to this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Send them all.
Yeah. Aim all your ire at Paddy. He's the problem.
Yeah.
It's him. He causes us trouble.
Okay.
Can't wait until I'm watching one of their matches.
Obviously, while I've been away, you boys
have... Yeah. Uh-oh. You there?
Obviously, while I've been away, you boys have filled the void and jumped through and done QPR.
Yeah, okay. we jumped you.
Okay. I just saw a comment here now. I have.
That's good.
Watch this. It's from John Merrill. Speaking of QPR and Ainsworth, if anyone hasn't seen the videos of when he got a Maori guy to come in and build team culture by doing a haka.
Oh my God. It's the most cringeworthy video you've ever seen.
Is that like shouting, it's our house?
No, it's so much worse. You have to watch it. It's the most. I almost can't watch it because it's
that is no disrespect. That is no disrespect to our New Zealand watchers, because the haka done by them is one of the most fierce things you'll see.
Okay, now just seeing as we're on, we've moved off topic now onto hakas. Also, if you want to do a little bit of Googling on YouTube, our local rugby team at home, Munster, they're a very, very good team, but they have played against New Zealand and beaten New Zealand, which is unusual. And they have some players on the team from New Zealand as well. So for one of the matches, I think it was the return match after we had previously beaten them, they did the New Zealand did the haka, and then the Munster players did the haka back at them, which is obviously very unusual. And also, I don't know if this is true, but I heard this, that the New Zealand team did a special haka that they have never done towards Munster. And it basically ended with some sort of friendly gesture of respect or whatever. Yeah. So they did something a little different, and it was a big thing at the time.
They do have different versions of it, Paddy.
Yes,
and Australia made the fatal mistake one year in their match of turning their backs to them while they did the haka.
I think I remember that too, yeah.
And proceeded to get absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But so very, a very historical and traditional thing for New Zealanders to do it. So, but I can understand if it didn't quite hit the mark with QPR when they brought in the guy to do it, if they didn't understand the culture of it.
Yeah, like you don't just adopt someone else's culture and think you're gonna make something of it, you know?
That's why if you watch that video, it is the most cringeworthy thing you'll ever see. I know John just put in the chat, the faces on the players are like, what are we doing? It is so bad. You have to watch. It's hilarious.
Okay. Well, do you want me to get on to Portsmouth? Are we at that point?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Well, Portsmouth Football Club. Well, interestingly enough, so they have a very long history, obviously founded in 1898. Their home ground is Fratton Park, and it's probably one of the longest trips we'll have because it's in the very south of England, 241 miles from Wrexham. So they will definitely be flying to that. It's right down at the very bottom end of England on the coast. So their stadium, like I mentioned, was Fratton Park, holds 20,899 people, which to me, that's not a massive stadium when you think about it. Like we're about to add, over 5,000 people into the Cop End, and we're at sort of around that 12,000 mark. So we're going to go out to around that 16 to 17 roughly when that stadium goes in. So, and that's without the rest of the stadiums being upgraded. So not a huge ground, but is a very nice looking ground, looks like it'll have a great atmosphere. So I think it'll be a great place to go play. Interestingly enough, one of their main rivals is the team that we first play this season, Southampton. So very interesting for them. They have had some history. They've won the FA Cup 2008, FA Cup Trophy 2039, and retained it for the longest time because of World War II, retained it all the way through to 1946. So they had it for 7 years. Interesting thing. They are one of only 5 English football clubs that have won all 4 tiers of the professional league.
Oh, wow. That's
so quite a great milestone to have, because obviously teams go up and down the league without winning the
leagues, yeah.
But they actually have won it, and ironically, they're perennially pretty much a League One side. They won League One in the 23-24 season, and went up, and then managed, obviously, as we talked about in the show the other day, teams that went up that have stayed up. So this team obviously was one of the teams that went up the year before and have stayed up this finishing season, finishing in 16th. But prior to that, they had 7 years in League One, ranging all the way from first, obviously, 23-24. If I go backwards, 8th, 10th, 8th, 5th, 4th, and 8th. So towards the top half, definitely, of the league and in the playoffs, but been right there. So, they're a team that has done quite well. Their Mousinho is their coach, and he's been their coach for the last 3 seasons. He came in the 22-23 season, coaching 23 games. So he came in right around that Christmas window in 22-23, and has been their manager all the way through till now, which is quite interesting. So a little bit of stability there. I'm pretty certain he's their coach still again this season. No changes there. So a team that, I think, like the team that Paddy just covered, mid-table is their ambition. Stay in Championship again for another year, because this is only since the 2010-11 season, only their 3rd season in the Championship. They've been as low as League Two. They literally went from the Championship in 2011-2012. They got relegated down, straight down into League One. Then they did the double drop. They finished 24th in 2012-2013, went down to League Two, spent 4 seasons there, winning it in 2016-2017, coming back up, then obviously again winning the League One 23-24, and now looking at being trying to stay in the league, consolidating their year this last year and staying up. So I think that would be a good result for them this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So very interesting. But yeah, I mean, obviously I've missed a bit of this show due to internet issues, but we've covered 3 teams now. We got anything we want to mention on these teams now before maybe moving on to other news?
No, on them, I do think their manager is one that could get picked up by somebody. They may get rated. I think a lot of people like him. He's done a really good job there. So he's one that it wouldn't surprise me if they were, lower, if they're about where we expect them to be, and say one of these teams that are higher in the table, or they should be higher in the table, maybe aren't happy.
Yeah.
They decide to make a move. I think he's the type of manager they would go to. That wouldn't surprise me at all if a bigger club, say like a West Brom or a Norwich, or just a team in that kind of range. It's just a little further up the table than them. I could see.
Well, you make a good point, Aaron. He came in halfway through that 22-23 season, got them to 8th, missed out on the playoffs. Then the following season, he wins. League One, takes the flag, and then obviously first season in the championship keeps them up. That's good recipe for being shopped.
Yeah, especially if they're doing okay, if they're solid this season up until the point that he potentially leaves them. He would be an interesting one. First club since becoming a manager, though, still pretty young. Is he looking for a move? Probably. You would think for a career point of view, he's done his time. He's gotten them promoted. He kept them up there. And if he's solid this season, it would be a fair shout to bring him on to a team that has more resources.
Mm-hmm.
Well, interesting you mentioned that, Aaron. He's 39 years old. The last team he played for, Oxford United.
Oxford. There you
go. Played for Burton Albion, played for Stevenage, Preston North End. Twice. So, interesting. When you look back at their careers as players, there's obviously ties there, and there'll be conversations being had, even just friendly catch-ups, So, yeah.
And interesting that he got his first job from a club that he didn't seem to have any links with. So Portsmouth, he hasn't had any time with them. Not that as a manager it really matters, but they gave him the shout on his first job. Even though it would have been in League One at the time, obviously, but he did a good job for a first time manager.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's going to be very interesting to watch play. Like as we've talked about previously, the roundabout that is managers in the championship and the volatility.
Yeah.
Who knows? So, I think it's going to be a very interesting season just for those conversations alone, let alone the football on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Oh, shoot.
Coming back to, I guess, Aaron and I, we missed the show. You and Josh did, Paddy, and I haven't seen any of it yet with the fixture release. But obviously that first weekend, looking at some of those games, I mean, the thing is, when you look at the championship, there's just great games everywhere, isn't there? Because there's great
of course,
yeah. But I mean, that first Saturday, and being 4 games on that Saturday, which will be a super highlight, and the biggest, all 3 promoted teams play on the Saturday, as well as
no.
Switch
on the first weekend, you mean?
The first
Birmingham
weekend,
playing Friday night.
Sorry,
Birmingham playing on
Friday
night
for me. Sorry, I'm looking at it. It's synced up the calendar for me, so it's a Friday night, isn't it?
Yes.
For you, yeah. So Saturday for me. Friday night you have Birmingham, Charlton, and Wrexham all playing, as well as Southampton and Ipswich. And the other relegated club was just gone out of my mind at the moment. Who was the other relegated club from the Premier League?
It was Leicester.
Leicester, that's right. Yeah, and they don't play until
they play the Sunday game.
They play the Sunday game. Yes,
they've got Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, Sheffield Wednesday. Ouch. that could be painful for Sheffield Wednesday.
So our early matches then, you have away at Southampton first, then you have home to West Bromwich Albion, at home to Sheffield Wednesday, away to Millwall, which will be a tough one. Then we go into September, and then we have a home match versus QPR. So the first 5 are a mixed bag. QPR, potentially we should be beating them at home. Sheffield Wednesday, with their problems, we would hope to beat them at home as well. After that, then it's 2 away and a home with West Brom, who are a decent team. So
what was the date of our first home match, Paddy?
The date, Saturday the 9th of August.
No, our first home match.
Oh, home, sorry. Saturday 16th of August, West Brom.
Oh, so the following week. Okay, so they obviously...
Yeah. Now, we do have the cup match before that. So the first Carabao Cup match squeezes in between those 2 matches, and that's a home match for us as well. So we got Hull. We got Hull for that match.
Somewhere around 12-13.
That was the last position in the championship for Hull last season. So that's kind of the best of both worlds. I was talking about this, and you might want a League 2 easy match.
Right.
You know, for the first one. However, I don't think that's a bad match to get your teeth into. We need to get on top of championship level opponents. So having a cup match to get your eye in, to check out some players and to, you know, see how everyone is firing together as a team. I don't think it's a bad match to have. And look, if you can always lose it, but if you lose it and learn lessons for the league, you're not dropping points. So it's not the worst, I would say. Like for me, the worst would be getting someone like bloody Birmingham or Southampton, or, you know, someone that you're expected to lose. Did you really learn very much in getting hammered? And then you're out of the cup, and it doesn't really help you mentally get up for taking out the league. So
on that, do you think? I mean, to me, I think Parky will play it like he did last season. I think we'll have a completely different 11 for that game. I don't think he'll play the starters at all in that.
I disagree. I would just play it, get the team together, who's your first team. Now, the other thing we did say about that is you might be right. And if you are right, then what you can also do is you can use that match to confirm whether you think some of the players from your bench are strong enough or not.
Right.
You know, they may basically get one shot to prove themselves against championship level quality. And if you don't stand up and be counted in that match, then you may lose your place and you may not get it back again. You know, that could be a tester for some of them.
Yeah, I'm with you, Aaron. I think it's the swap out and play a whole nother 11 for how busy the season is in the championship with international breaks and that.
But it is still a shot at getting a Prem.
Sorry, Paddy?
It is still a shot at getting a Prem team. You don't want to get knocked out of this tournament if you don't have to.
No,
and we're now a championship level team as well. So
I understand that, but also you you look at the history of Parky. He has always history of Parky is don't play a strong side. The only time he played a strong side was in the FA Cup, not in the other cups. And I think you will see these other clubs as well. Like if you drew like an Ipswich or a Southampton, they'll be totally swapping out squads. Doesn't mean they won't be a strong team, but you know, you need to manage your players throughout the season, even though it is only the first week. There's a lot of football coming straight after it.
I don't think he'll take that one serious. I think he'll play. It'll be a completely changed 11 from the opening game of the season. Unless there's somebody in there, unless there's somebody in that starting 11 that he wants to see more of.
Needs minutes.
What I mean? Yeah, maybe there's somebody
But see, here's the thing as well: is if he sticks with his style, which is not all of the new players are going to be playing immediately, then he is essentially still going to be testing players from last season, because the new players may still be sitting on the bench while they're bringing them into the team, especially if they've only come in a week, or whatever. So you're still doing the same thing. Like match 1 and this cup match, it could still be the same team. But he's still testing some players as part of that as well. So it's a mixture. It's hard to know exactly. But either way, I don't disagree with the idea of going a little bit weaker. But I think now that we're in the championship, now that we're a championship team versus a low-end championship team, you don't want to lose that.
Just remember,
because that shows we're weak.
But I don't think you're going to get their starting 11 either. I think they're going to put out a weak team.
Let them put out a weak team.
And also, Aaron, I think that just remember our non-starting 11 now is not as weak as it used to be.
No, but it's still
going to be. It could be guys like Elliot Lee and George Dobson.
Yeah, exactly.
Starting lineup.
Exactly. I agree with that too.
But then your question, I disagree with saying they're not as strong. They're strong. They're quite strong now. They're not. We've moved up a level.
Right.
There's a lot of players that are weak.
Yeah.
So like Elliot Lee as well. Like there's questions on Elliot Lee at this level.
He just beating everybody down, Paddy.
This is what Paddy wants. Paddy wants us to spend $10 million on a striker, and he wants him hurt in a Carabao Cup game. That's what Paddy wants.
Heard it here.
Heard it here first. That's what Paddy's after.
Aaron's got heat exhaustion.
Dude, I'll tell you, look at my face. I keep looking at myself in the thing. I'm like, God, I look awful. I'm like, I'm burning up in here. And it's not even hot in this room. These lights are hot though.
Yeah.
That's what you do for stardom. That's gonna get clipped up.
45 people in here watching, Aaron.
Yeah, that's gonna get clipped up for sure. Somebody's gonna get me with that one.
Do you want to skip straight to the end then?
The end of the
let's have a look at this. So
go ahead.
May, there's one. Okay, so there's one in May, so we'll show you that in a minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last 5 matches we have are Birmingham City away, Stoke City at home, Oxford United away, Coventry City away, and final match is Middlesbrough at home.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
15 points I heard there.
Oh boy.
So yeah. That's not great.
No, that's not fantastic.
Well, that's the league we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the league we're in. To be honest, it reminds me of Wycombe's running last season. Kind of the way they had tough matches to finish off. So let's see where we are at the end of the season.
Wait.
Yeah,
looking at myself backwards.
I agree. End of the season. Let's see where we are. By that stage, is it going to be
important?
Oh my God, we're struggling to stay out of relegation, or we're mid-table and we're on the beach, or are we fighting for the playoffs, or are we 6 points clear in the league and going to take the whole thing?
I mean, that'd be really cool. But I don't.
There's a story.
Yeah.
I don't think.
How about this? With 5 games left, we will still be within a shout of getting relegated. Mathematically, we could still get relegated, but also could still make the playoffs.
Yeah, very possible with 15 points.
It's possible.
And our star striker's down injured. Sam Smith pulls a hammy.
Now why would you say something like that, Ken?
Just wait. And we got Paul Mullen back from loan, and he scores the winners to get us to.
I'll say this here right now. You will never see Paul Mullen in a Wrexham jersey again.
The last time I said something like that, I said it about Ollie Palmer, and he played the very next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was still with the club.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll ever see Paul again.
Well, it's funny. I think, people have been talking about, there's the conversation about Will Boyle v Paul Mullen, but But Will Ball's gone. Paul Mullen's only out on loan. I'm not saying he's going to be back. I'm just saying the narrative has to be different if your player's only out on loan.
Yeah. For the club, you're definitely not going to treat it the same, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he is technically still our player. But I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Interesting. Paul, I mean, it depends on how you take that comment. We are quite dreamy.
A few of us.
That's how I took it.
A few of us are pretty dreamy. I'll let you decide, chat.
I love it. No, well, that's a hell of a finish to the season, Paddy.
Yeah, it'll be brutal. I mean, that's one of the, you definitely don't want to be sitting in the relegation zone and then have that coming. That doesn't look pretty. But but like he said though, that is the league we're in. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, I really think you could just about take any 5-game stretch through the whole season and just be like, oof.
There's someone in every 5,
I mean, I mean, and there's some games that we're gonna feel like we should be winning, but it's still, I don't know. I guess it'll be different once we start playing the teams. You know what I mean? It's really see where we stack. Like, honestly, to me, the first game, I think that's always a coin flip anyway, just because anything can happen on the first night. I think that second game, our opening home game against West Brom, that one that's intriguing to me, because I really do think we will kind of have an idea of where we really stack up. Because I think West Brom's a team that's probably going to be right around fighting for playoffs, or at least you would think they would be. Maybe not. It may be a Bolton situation where we thought Bolton would be that team this season. They turned out not to be. But to me, that West Brom game is a game where it's like, okay, because we could beat Southampton just on a
randomly,
because they have a bad night. That doesn't mean necessarily anything. But once everybody's played and you've got kind of an idea of what's going on, I think that game against them will be a good barometer of where we could be.
Yeah, so West Brom, just a little bit of history there. They came down from the Prem in 2021, and then they've had 4 seasons. They've had 10th, 9th, 5th, and 9th. So obviously all their parachute money is gone. They bought in players, and now they're starting to rotate players out, but they've been solid the last 4 seasons. So that, yes, I think they are a very nice home team to judge how well our team stacks up versus them, because they're a solid team. They've not really been making the playoffs every year, but they're definitely upper mid-table.
Yeah, they're in and around it. Yeah. They're in that fight. I think that's where we want to be. I don't think anybody would be upset if we're fighting for playoffs by the end of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
West Brom spent a lot of time in the Prem. Like
they did before that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a real line in the sand. It's a litmus test for us, of a club.
It is, but here's the thing. I still say people are giving too much extra oomph to history. Like a team here. Now, if you go back 15 years, that's what's right in front of me here. So they were in the Prem for 8 years, and then they got relegated in 20th. They were 2 seasons down with parachute payments, went back up, came back down again, and have now been down for 4 years. 4 years is a full cycle on your team. Contracts end. You move teams in and out. But 2 of those years, they had decent money. So they'll have some decent players. But it is what it is. Like, this is who we need to beat, and this is the level we need to beat. But yeah, I just not you guys. I just think a lot of people in the chats and stuff are really getting scared of names. Mm-hmm. This is a team we need to beat if we want to be up near the top. They're not the best team. Yeah. They're not an amazing team anymore, but they're very solid with a solid team.
Yeah, and to your point, I think we heard a lot of that last season too.
Yes,
and there was a lot of exactly. Even going into League 2, you're right. Even it's funny because I think there's a bit of revisionist history where you'll see people talking about the League 2 season, like, yeah, we all expected to get promoted. No, you didn't. No, nobody was saying that we were
Monday's
that season. Our fans were not saying that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were people that were positive and thought we could do well. I don't think anybody really thought we were going to go back to back the first time. There might have been a few, but there weren't many. Because I know the few that did, and I think Josh, to his credit, was one of them. I think he got a lot of stick for saying, he was very positive, and he said, "No, we're going up this season." And they were like, "Yeah," and that was the League Two season. And then so last season, there was definitely a lot of, they were looking at teams like Huddersfield, and Bolton, and Rotherham, and
Barnsley,
Birmingham, and thinking these are big teams. These are established clubs at the League One level. It's going to take us time to build up. And so now they're saying the same thing. And I agree with that. I think there is something to that because of the money. So we will definitely have enough money. We could spend enough money to spend more than most of the teams in this division can spend this year. The problem is they've been spending that much money for year after year. The teams that have been in it for so long, they've been doing it year after year after year. So they're deep. It's not their depth is so much better. And I know me and you have talked about that, Patty. That's where it's going to be challenging for us. I have no doubt that our starting 11 will be very good.
Yeah.
But can they stay healthy? And is there going to be enough depth behind them that's good enough to keep us where we want to be?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with this, we're a team that is trending up. We're spending money. We're improving our squad. We're improving our facilities. Our trend is upward. Now, we've obviously gone, if you stay in the same league and you're trending upwards, well, obviously you finish higher in that league. Obviously, we're trending up in terms of quality, players, facilities, everything else. But we're traveling up the pyramid as we do it. So, therefore, it's like almost a reset. You've got to figure out how much improvement is in the next league and how much we improve to stay where we are. Now, in terms of what you've got to remember is when you go back and look previously, we've promoted out of all of those leagues. Yeah. So, if you stay on the same trajectory, you then you can have a solid argument to say, well, we're going to be there or thereabouts in the top half of the league.
Right.
But everybody keeps saying at the beginning of each season, and they've said it every season, this league's different. It's so much tougher. Now, and it hasn't really proven to be true up till now, but I think this is the one where it will happen. Yeah. This is the hardest jump that we've had.
The jumps keep getting bigger. Yeah, I don't think it was a big jump at all from the National League. The top end of the National League to League Two, I don't think was a big jump at all because there's such a bottleneck there.
Yeah,
you have to be so good to get out of. Exactly. Yeah, we definitely had. We probably had a League One squad really in the National League, and then when we went up, then I think we were already obviously we were easily a top end League Two team. And we were probably a top 10 League One team that season.
Yep.
And then when you go up again and we just improved the team that much more and brought in the players we did, and that's what we do. And if we've got the money to invest too, and that's the thing. Because no matter what happens, even if we're in the relegation zone come January, guess what? They're going to spend a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Conversely to that, if we're almost in the playoffs in January, they're going to spend a shitload of money. You know what I mean? They're going to spend the money to do whatever needs done.
Funnily enough, on those points, though, if you go back to our second last season in the National League when we didn't get promoted and we had that squad, that's why that hurt so much.
Yeah.
Because they'd spent the money, expected to go up and fell just short. But did it the next year, Luckily at that level, we're not talking 20, 30, 40 million pound.
Right.
We're talking like
exactly.
£2 million pound.
A couple million,
That was Rob and Ryan money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's do it. Now it's TLP money now. It's serious dollars.
TLP. I like that. Josh money. Got that big Josh money out there.
Josh money, Josh money.
Let's call it Josh money.
But there's so many teams in the championship that are not making significant revenues, that they're spending way too much. Their player cost base is too high, which means that the only way they survive is on loans from the owners where possible, and selling their better players in order to balance the books. So slowly they start falling back down. And now, depending on how strong they are, it can take quite a while to do that, because they might have some money there available, and one player that they sell for decent money might become two, but it just slowly eats at them. So in my mind, what you're looking for with these teams is any team that has stagnated into a group of results in the championship, within 4 or 5 places, and they're not doing anything else, they're not going anywhere. They're not to be feared, kind of in the same way. Then it just becomes, how good is our squad? How good can we make our squad this summer? And that will tell us where we'll end up. But if we don't go strong this season, we know we'll do it again in January, and we know we'll do it again next summer. Next season we'll be a beast. We'll be serious.
We'll be much better
if we don't get too high this season.
And I take back my comment. Sheffield Wednesday isn't spending any money.
No, they can't.
They're not paying their wages.
They may not even have, who was it? Somebody earlier, I don't know if it's today or somebody mentioned, they're talking like we are talking about the depth that some of the teams have. They brought up Sheffield Wednesday, and I was thinking, well, they may not have any players in a couple of weeks. They may not have any players. So
we've still got the evolving story that's going to happen over the next month of what's going to happen to Sheffield Wednesday and what's going to happen to Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester. That's
Sheffield Wednesday, I think, is going to happen in about a week, because it's going to hit a new calendar month. I think they get paid at the end of the month. So this year, I think they're already coming up on second month.
Did you guys, I don't want to cut into things we might talk about on Sunday's show, but did you guys see the statement that Chansiri put out today?
No.
I have not seen it.
Very interesting, because he's been getting buried about he won't sell the club.
Okay.
So he come out with a statement today, and I'll kind of summarize it because it was pretty long. But basically, he's been trying to get them. He's basically, the people that were supposedly wanting to buy the club have not shown any proof of having the money to actually do it. He was trying to get money in. He was wanting to put down like a $5 million down payment, more or less, so he could get caught up, get all that taken care of. And then they had apparently agreed. They had apparently agreed a price, and there was a meeting that was supposed to happen, and apparently the group that was supposed to be buying pulled out of that meeting and never put the money down. But then in the media, they've been saying, well, he just won't negotiate with us, and he won't do, kind of laying it all on him. And he kind of laid back into him today. Now, he could be completely full of shit too. And there's some people saying that, but it was interesting. It's interesting. It doesn't look good though, because it said, just by the statement, it doesn't sound like he's got a ton of, I don't think he's not going to put any money in the club.
Yeah.
He's looking for it outside of that. So, but
yes. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to cover off, boys, or do we want to, let them go and keep them waiting for more for the next shows coming up?
Yeah. No, I think we're good.
There's more coming, isn't there? What is it? Yeah.
So much more. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited about the new stuff coming to the channel, and some of the stuff we're going to do with the championship, bringing a little more of that in. I know you and Josh talked about it a little bit today, Patty, on the stream. Just doing a little more championship-based content. The championships, it's such a fun league. You know what I mean? It's fun to watch. There's a lot of good football. And there's a lot of teams playing different styles of football. So it's not just the same old, same old. It's not boring. It's high quality. The quality's really good. You don't get I mean, you're going to get mistakes, but you're not going to, it's not like National League where some of it's just like, oh God, that's terrible. You know what I mean? It's really fun to watch. It's really enjoyable. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, no, going to be very good, very good. I've just got the boss messaging me, which is good. He's been hard at work today. So it's good. Look, we're basically only still down in the lower half of the table. We're working our way through these teams week by week in the lead up to the new season. So yeah, boys, let's bring it on. Wait for some more exciting news. Actually, I'm feeling like I can feel new signings on the horizon. Within the next 7 days, I can feel new signings.
I think we'll get 2 in before the July 1st.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I would even be happy to say these could easily be ones that nobody's heard of. That they're kind of, okay, only this week, some clubs have decided we need money. We need to get rid of a few players. Do a deal quick. Give us some cash, and we're good.
Yeah, what'll happen? It seems like what generally happens is all of a sudden a name will pop up on a Friday evening, and they get announced on the Saturday. But it'll be the first time you've ever heard it on the Friday evening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I think we'll probably get some of that. I think a lot of the rumors that go around generally end up not having anything to them. But yeah, I think you're right though. I definitely think that the end of the fiscal year for teams, which is June 30th, I think that there'll be teams looking to move players on, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, why don't we finish off on this one, boys? I'm pretty certain we'll see Paddy at a home game this year at some stage. What's the chances, Paddy?
I would like to. The problem is going to be tickets will be really tough this season for the home games. I've actually been targeting the away matches this season because there's a lot more away tickets as well, bigger stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
And new stadiums, obviously, I haven't been to. So I think I'm going to target the away matches. But if someone can swing me a ticket that's near guaranteed, then I would like to get to a home match.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I probably won't this season just because with no cop and my family, my kids won't let me go by myself. They'd probably murder me if I left them and went without them. So I'm going to need 5 tickets when I go, and I don't think there's any chance of that happening this season. So,
to Aaron's point, as most of you know that watch on a regular basis, I do play golf. I like playing golf. I'm already pre-planning my trip to the 2027 Ryder Cup in Ireland, and I will be coming in that year. And I have already told the boys, including Aaron, it's happening that year. We're all going to do it together. It's going to be on. We're going to have a great time, and we will organise something very special. But so this coming season, probably not for Aaron, probably not for me, but definitely the following year I am in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, boys.
All right.
I don't know. Paddy did a show with Josh this morning. I'm going to leave this one to Aaron in his sweaty, red-faced, one right ear burning to its crisp to get us out of here. Thanks very much, boys. Over to you, Aaron.
All right. Well, let's get the riff-raff out of here. All right, everybody. This has been a wonderful show. I had a lot of time. I'm sweating. I'm burning up. I mean, the stuff I go through for this channel, it's unbelievable. But anyway, on that bombshell, we'll see you next time, everybody.